What's up, Rad fam? How y'all doing today? I hope you're doing fantastic. Welcome back to another spooky video. Today we're gonna go explore another creepy Ask Reddit thread, y'all, because that is my jam. I just can't get enough, and I hope you feel the same. Today's thread that we are going to go explore poses the question, what's your go-to scary story to tell around the campfire? And y'all, if you have been did you hear my bones crack there? If you've been a Rad Fam member for a moment, you know how much I talk about how I love camping. I love it. I love the idea of being out in the wilderness. It's peaceful, it's tranquil, it's beautiful. But the scary stories and like video games and horror movies that I have been exposed to over the years have made the idea of going camping, being isolated in the middle of the woods with just a thin little tent to protect me, that absolutely terrifies me. So let's go read some stories on why I'm going to be more afraid after this video. What? Does that make sense? I don't know. Let's go explore it. My dad grew up in a very old farmhouse in Pennsylvania. So many unexplainable things happened while his family lived there. The most extraordinary thing being that at night he could hear... Y'all ready? He could hear a rocking chair in the attic above him begin to rock back and forth when he was in bed. Did y'all get goosebumps? Because I did. Oh, no. My chronic insomnia would not like that. Eventually, one night he got so fed up. He waited multiple nights. I'm just saying, I'm out of there after the first 2 nights. He got so fed up with the constant noise that he shouted, "Would you please stop doing that? I can't sleep with all the noise." The rocking then immediately stopped. He ended up doing the same thing every night for the rest of the time his family was in that house. At least it's polite, I guess. That could have gone in a lot of different directions. So that's nice. But it's also even more terrifying if you think about it, because that means that whatever it was understood what he was saying. And after the second time of doing it, wouldn't you be afraid of what it was, or making whatever it was mad, or you know what I mean? All right then, that's a different type of campfire story. I absolutely love comments that start off like this one does. I just love the enthusiasm. People are just so eager and happy to share spooky stories with each other. I love the horror community. Ooh, gotta be the one about the hiker who gets lost in the bush one night and stumbles upon an old cabin. Love that setup. All right, tell me more. This is giving me some old school classic horror movie vibes. Actually, me and my family are planning a trip to go stay in a cabin in the woods pretty soon, and it just dawned on me that we're gonna be in the middle of the woods. I thought cabin, so I didn't think camping, but now that I think about it, I'm reading all these scary stories that's gonna be very applicable to where I'm going. Oh no. Well, there'll be a campfire, so maybe I'll bring some of these out. He finds the door open and shines his flashlight in. In the flickering light, he sees an old bed covered in yellow newspaper, as well as these odd portraits on the wall. All of them were of strange sizes and angles, each depicting people who just seem off. Oh, the goosebumps. He settles down on the uncomfortable bed and shuts his eyes to those unnerving portraits. In the morning, with the sun shining into the cabin, he realizes something horrible. Those portraits were windows. Oh, yep. Do you guys remember that story? That's a pretty classic campfire story, I feel like. I don't know if it originated as a creepypasta or on a no sleep post, but I feel like I've heard this story in different variations lots of times before. Oh, that's a good one. That will always be chilling, the idea of these things, these people, these creatures, whatever, just staring at you, and you're just so oblivious to the fact that it's a thing. So creepy. Someone told me a way more detailed version of the story as a kid when I was at summer camp, and it always terrified me. This is what I really like about campfire stories, or urban legends, just spooky stories that you share word of mouth. It's so interesting to hear how people can change them to make them spookier for the person that they're sharing them with. But I digress. A young woman moves into a new apartment and adopts a dog she names Max, so that she feels safe and comfortable living alone. They become best friends and always sleep and cuddle in bed together every night, which is the best part of having animals. Unfortunately, all my animals don't like doing that. Charlie likes to bite my face. Well, one night before bed, it's dark and she keeps hearing weird noises from other parts of the apartment. Mac jumps off her bed to investigate, but the woman just brushes it off like, maybe it's the neighbors in another apartment, or it's the wind outside making some noise. All things I think we would try to do to calm ourselves, you know? You don't really want to get out of your comfy bed, so I don't blame her too much for that. And eventually, she starts to drift off to sleep. She wakes up in the middle of the night and notices Max isn't sleeping next to her, but she hears a creaking noise under her bed. So she places her hand down beside it and calls out, "Max, what you doing, buddy?" She immediately is comforted by the feeling of her dog licking her hand, and she slowly falls back to sleep. Totally normal, totally innocent, totally sweet, you know? Upon waking up, as she heads to the bathroom to take a shower, she sees Max hanging there. Oh god, that's gruesome. On the mirror, written in blood, it says, "Humans can lick too." Oh, no, thank you. And the winky face too. Did they really take the time to write that on blood though? That's a special type of evil. Whenever there's like a horror movie or like a scary game and there's a dog in it, I just cannot enjoy it because the entire time I am just so anxious that something bad is going to happen to the dog because they've done it too many times. They know it's an emotional connection people have, that it's going to be a tearjerker, that it, you know what I mean? Ah, God, I hate that. So as soon as I saw that there was a dog listed in the story, I knew it. And yet I still chose to read it. And I kind of regret it because it just makes me really, really sad. But let's not ignore the fact that something was in her apartment and it's probably still there. This is an old one I heard when I was a kid and it really stuck with me. I always tell it now that I'm older. I've heard many versions of it, but this is how I remember it. Oh gosh, the campfire stories that like stick with you though. You know, this person has had so many nightmares involving this story. I lived in an old apartment building when I was in my 20s in New York. One night I was heading to a party at like 2 in the morning. Heading to a party at 2 in the morning. All right. And heading down the elevator, it stopped on the way down. This building was 16 floors, so it took a minute or two for the old elevator to get down, and it was always pretty shaky. Well, that's a horror story in and of itself. Anyway, a few floors down, the doors opened and there was a couple standing there. They looked at me and I looked at them. They didn't move. I said, "Are you getting in?" And they said they'd take the next one. I just assumed they wanted to be alone. But right when the doors were closing, I heard the woman say, "Oh, bone chilling. Why are there so many people in the elevator this late at night?" They were alone. So, what would you do? You'd just be so filled with adrenaline. I'd just like be pushing the next floor button. I'd want to get off as soon. I'm just taking the stairs. This channel and these stories have really convinced me that taking the stairs is just the best option all around. But then again, it could always be like, maybe it was 2 in the morning, so maybe she was intoxicated, maybe she was seeing things, you know, seeing blurry, seeing double, or maybe she was just really rude and messing with you. Picture yourself in this situation. You wake up in the middle of the night to your daughter at your bedside crying. All right, well, I don't have a daughter, so that sounds very terrifying. Your wife is still asleep. You ask your daughter, "What's the matter?" And she says she had a bad dream. You tell her to say what the dream was about, and then she'll feel all better. She says she can't tell you. You ask her why. She says, "Because in the dream, when I tell you what my bad dream was about, the thing wearing mommy's skin kills you." The bedsheet shift uneasily next to you. Oh no, that is like it's longer than 2 sentences, but that had like a real 2-sentence horror story vibe to it. Oh god. Okay, little kids, you know? Creepy. What would you do? I think I would get out of bed so fast that I'd be a terrible person and completely forget the kid. No, I wouldn't. You grab the kid and you run too. You grab like a little football and you break a world record for sprints. My dad was house shopping, and one time my sister and I came along to look at the houses. This one seemed like most of the bedrooms were in the basement of the house, which is where we spent most of the time looking. Some of the doors had holes at the bottom, like someone had kicked them, or scratch marks all over. All right. Eating myself out of the situation. No thank you. The whole place had an Amityville horror vibe. I wouldn't even go in. My sister and I joked the place was totally haunted. When we left, We noticed the wooden railing on the front deck and saw the, oh my god, I literally got a shiver down my spine right now, by haunted house in childlike writing. It's unclear if it meant by haunted house or by the haunted house, but we chose to say by. Smart. Really smart. Maybe that was a kid's tactic though, to have maybe like not have people buy the house, then she could stay in her childhood home longer, which that's a sweet idea, but also very terrifying that a child would be that manipulative. You know, sometimes it's okay to just trust your gut. Don't be embarrassed. It's okay. We're all human and we're all allowed to be afraid. So remember that next time you're in a situation like this. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you dug it, and if you did dig it, click the bell, become the Rad Fam member, so that we can talk more scary stories in the future. And until next time, keep up the radness, and I hope to see you again real soon. Deuces.